Hi friends, so today in Historica, we are going to discuss about the world's largest religious gathering. What is the historical significance of this massive festival which attracts more than 400 million people from across the planet? So how old is this festival? What was the ancient name of the city of Kumbh Mela? And why did the BJP government change its name? So what exactly is the Kumbh Mela? Why is it celebrated? How old is this festival? Does it have any effect on India's economy? And how does the government happen to manage such a massive crowd at one single location? This festival is not just a sacred symbol in Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma, but is an incredible opportunity to exchange and celebrate India's culture and traditions. So every time this festival is held, millions of devotees and tourists from across the globe participate. They take holy dips in sacred rivers, which they consider is important for their spiritual purification, and also perform various religious rituals. India, renowned for its ancient heritage, astronomy, science and religious history, organizes this event every 12 years, making it the largest congregation in human history. So today we will take you through the story of Kumbh Mela. It is believed that the struggle between gods, which in Sanskrit are called as Devas, and demons, who in Sanskrit are called as Asuras, were fighting over an elixir of immortality, which in Sanskrit is known as Amrit. So this Amrit is believed to have fell at 4 different spots in India, and one of them is Prayagraj. So the devotees believe that by taking bath in the confluence of the Ganga and Yamuna river at Prayagraj, they can wash their sins which they have accumulated from many past births. By the end of this festival, we are expecting a whopping 450 million people to have attended this festival. So what does the word Prayagraj exactly mean? So the word Prayag means the place of sacrifices. And in Sanskrit, the word Yagya refers to sacrifice. So in ancient India, especially in Sanatan Dharma, there was an age-old tradition that people used to travel on pilgrimages to temples, to sites of holy importance, to confluence of rivers, to the Himalayas, and so on. So this tradition was very ancient in India, going back to thousands of years. So continuing with the same tradition, followers of Sanatan Dharma followed rigidly this practice of going to Prayagraj once in 12 years. And this practice of going to Prayagraj is mentioned in several ancient literatures, including the Mahabharata, including the Puranas and many other ancient literatures. So according to ancient Indian scriptures, it is believed that Brahma performed the first yagya or the sacrificial ritual at the sacred site of Prayagraj, making it a holy land for spiritual practices. Many such information is documented in this groundbreaking book, Kumbh City, Prayag, by Dr. S.K. Dubey, published by the Director General, Center for Cultural Resources and Training. So, during the rule of Akbar in 1556 to 1605, Prayagraj underwent a major transformation, and recognizing its strategic and cultural importance, Akbar renamed this city as Allahabad. So what exactly is the name of the city? Was it Allahabad, Allahabad or Prayagraj? And some people even call it as Prayag. And in ancient Indian scriptures, there is often a mention of the city being called as Tirtharaj, Prayag. So what exactly is the real name of the city? Let's see the historical references. So Akbarnama is a 500-year-old text written during the Mughal period. In this literature, Abu Fazl, who was associated with Akbar during his period, he writes in the book Akbarnama, for a long time, it was Akbar's wish to establish a great city at Prayag, where the Ganges and Yamuna rivers converge, a place deeply revered by the people of India and a sacred pilgrimage site for ascetics. So even during the period of Akbar, this city was known as Prayag, as we can see in the historical reference of Akbarnama. And due to some reasons, Akbar changed its name to Allahabad. So recognizing that the 2025 Kumbh Mela is going to happen once in 144 years, many groups and religious organizations and leaders came together and protested that we change the name of Allahabad or Allahabad and make it again Prayag or Prayagraj. And in 2018, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, passed a resolution and officially declared that the city of Allahabad be renamed back as Prayagraj. So there is further evidence regarding the name of this site as Prayagraj. We have in the city a famous pillar called as the Allahabad Pillar. So this pillar was originally built by Emperor Ashok, and it holds great historical and religious significance. Located very near to the Sangam, the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna and Prayagraj, this pillar has inscriptions from different historical periods. One of its most significant records. So in this inscription, we find a very interesting detail. So according to Birbal's Kumbh Mela inscription of the 16th century, it confirms that Prayag was a major Hindu pilgrimage site in the 16th century. And he clearly writes that this site is known as Tirthraj, or in other words, you can call it as the king of pilgrimage sites. So you can see from this inscription as well that this site held tremendous importance for Hindus across India, even during the time of the Mughals. So records from Chinese traveler, including the famous Yuan Chuang of the 7th century, provide some of the earliest non-Indian references, or in other words, we can call the travelers' accounts, which mention about the Kumbh Mela. So Yuan Chuang writes in his accounts that there was a religious fair which was held near the Ganga river, and thousands of pilgrims used to gather there for ritualistic bathing. This belief that bathing in the river washes away their sins and brings them closer to moksha, or in other words, liberation. This clearly shows that even a foreign traveler like Yuan Chuang was well aware that Indians came to the site Prayagraj and they believed that this site is very important for attaining moksha or liberation. So how it works according to ancient Indian scriptures, the belief of ancient Indians was we are in a continuous cycle of birth and death. And to come out of this cycle, it is important to do yagya or sacrifices. And Prayag was considered as the king of pilgrimage sites. So if a person takes bath in these holy sites, it is believed that he would attain moksha or liberation. According to the ancient Indian scriptures, there was a lot of battle going on between the Devatas and the Asuras. When the Devatas were facing imminent defeat, they sought refuge in Bhagavan Vishnu, who advised them to churn the cosmic ocean. And this process of churning the cosmic ocean was called as Samudra Manthan. So it is believed that during the Samudra Manthan, multiple objects came out, and one of them was the nectar of immortality, also known as Amrit in Sanskrit. So this particular narration is mentioned in several ancient Indian scriptures, including the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Puran, Vishnu Puran, and others. So it is said that the Devatas and Asuras realized that why don't we team up and together churn this mountain known as the Mandara mountain. So during this churning, several divine treasures are said to have emerged, and one of them was Amrit, or the nectar of immortality. So the story describes that there was a fierce battle that took place between the Devas and the Asuras. During this battle, a few drops of Amrit fell at 4 different locations, and one of them was Prayag, second was Haridwar, third one was Nashik, and the fourth one was Ujjain. The Vishnu Puran, Book 1, Chapter 9, also describes the churning of the ocean by the Devas and the Asuras. So how important is the concept of pilgrimage in ancient India? So for ancient Indians, it was very important that during the end of their lives, if not during their lives, when they are going to reach their final years of their life, right, above 50 generally, it was recommended that they go for a pilgrimage, because they were so engrossed in their homely duties, in their businesses and other things. So it was recommended that they start getting detached, because anyway one day they will have to die. So start getting detached from their homely duties and go for pilgrimage. So when you go to pilgrimage, you will meet many holy people, you will go to temples, you will see that life is temporary, you will realize about spirituality and start connecting with the higher realizations, right? So that was a tradition in ancient India, and it was recommended that a person becomes detached from his attachments and entanglements which he has created in his life. So pilgrimage was a very important concept, and this we can see throughout ancient Indian literatures. Like for instance, I can give you the example of Balramji. Balramji was a famous personality. He was the elder brother of Krishna. So Balramji left for a Tirtha Yatra, which we call as a pilgrimage, along the banks of the dried up Saraswati river, all the way from the Himalayas and going till Gujarat. So the entire banks of the Saraswati river had many ancient sites, historical sites, pilgrimage sites which he used to visit as a pilgrim. So he went on a pilgrimage. So this was the tradition in ancient India. And then we go to Vishnu Puran. We also find the same kind of reference that many sadhus, many saints, holy people used to go for pilgrimage, right? So when they used to go for pilgrimage, they used to discuss about many ancient stories and facts and religious topics. So one such topic was the churning of ocean by Devas and Asuras. So it was very important for a Hindu, a Sanatani, to visit these sites, especially during the Kumbh season, which is believed that it had the perfect astronomical position and constellation for visiting those sites. A Hindu would used to go to those sites and do his pilgrimage, and it was a belief that by going to these sites he would get rid of his sins which he has accumulated from this birth and the previous birth, and he will be able to attain liberation or moksha. Because in dharmic traditions, the belief system is that we are in a continuous cycle of birth and death. Punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam. So it was important that we come out of this cycle of birth and death, and that is possible only when you get rid of your sins. And how will you get rid of your sins? You go to pilgrimage, you go to temples, you go and meet spiritual people, and you go to sites which had holy rivers and take bath in them and pray there. Right? So this was the system in ancient India which people used to follow. And therefore, among all the different traditions and among all the different cultures in ancient India, the most important pilgrimage was Prayagraj. Why Prayagraj? Because Prayagraj is considered as the king of holy places, and there was a reason behind why it was considered so. In Sanatan Hindu tradition, rivers played a very critical role. Like when you see the river Ganga, it is considered to be the most sacred river. And then there was the Yamuna river, and then Saraswati, Godavari, Kaveri, and there were multiple rivers. For any ancient civilization to sustain itself, it is important that it had access to rivers. Rivers had a purpose. They used to depend on rivers for water, for irrigation, for their drinking, for agriculture, and many other purposes. So rivers played a very critical role. So apart from their daily roles, rivers also had an important role in religion as well. So there was an entire story behind the Ganga river, how she originated, and by taking bath in the Ganga river, how a person becomes purified. And then it was believed that Yamuna river also had a great significance, and it was also believed that Saraswati river also had a great significance. So to experience this mass festival, the largest human gathering ever in the history of mankind, 500 million people, that is 50 crore people at one single location in a span of 45 days. Awesome. I have never even heard of anything like that. So what I wanted to personally go there and check, does it really happen, something like that? And what was the intention behind so many people gathering at a single place? Just imagine the kind of experience you have, that millions of people are gathering at a single place with a common intention, that they want to experience that place, they want to progress spiritually, they want to progress in their consciousness, they want to get rid of their negativities, their sins. Amazing experience. So that was what I got when I went to Kumbh Mela just recently, and it was a fantastic experience, to say the least. We often hear many so-called intelligent people, they say, oh, the Kumbh Mela is a very new thing, it has started just 1000 years back, it was started just 1500, 2000 years back. So how old or how ancient is Kumbh Mela? Can you imagine that there is a reference from the ancient Buddhist literatures about the Kumbh Mela festival? So this goes to show how ancient and how old the tradition was. And he clearly knew that there was something called Kumbh Mela. Imagine the kind of economic impact of a kind of festival like the Kumbh Mela. It is expected that 3 million foreign tourists are going to visit Kumbh Mela. So if 3 million foreign tourists are visiting a country, just imagine the kind of growth of economy which a country can see. People will come to the country, they will stay in hotels, they will purchase food, they will travel to different places, and therefore they will use the vehicles, right? So the kind of economy which is generated in this country, the kind of foreign money which comes into this country, and even with Indian tourists, 450 million people or even 500 million people are coming to a single spot. Imagine the kind of economy which comes into the state, into that region, and the people who are working there, small time people who have small shops. It's massive. So Kumbh Mela is undoubtedly humanity's largest festival, with the kind of impact which it creates, the kind of presence which it has in humankind. Just to give you an idea with the kind of economy which Kumbh Mela generates, in the 2019 Ardh Kumbh Mela, which happens every 6 years, a whopping 1,20,000 crore Indian rupees was generated in business. So compared to 2019, this Kumbh Mela, 2025 Kumbh Mela, is expected to generate a massive 2 lakh crore Indian rupees. When I went to Kumbh Mela, I saw many thousands and thousands of small time shop persons who used to sell beads, they used to sell religious articles, they used to sell flowers and whatnot. So all of these different shopkeepers are seeing a new ray of hope, some economic possibility for their lives. So when I went to the Kumbh Mela, I saw that there were multiple lanes, and along the border of almost every lane there was a small tent, and a police person or someone from any armed forces, they used to sit there, and the stall was titled, "May I help you?" So anyone who wants any support, like they want to use the washrooms, they want to ask where is the food, or how they want to go for the Kumbh festival, or where is a particular temple, or any kind of information on traveling, all that was provided very smoothly and seamlessly throughout the festival area, which they call as the Mela. And one another thing which I observed, that this was a very unique Kumbh Mela, which integrated ancient tradition with modern technology. And rightly so, it was called as the digital Kumbh. It had 2,760 CCTV cameras installed across the entire region. So the attempt of the government of Uttar Pradesh was to use technology to make the festival as smooth and seamless as possible. Underwater drones, some going even deeper than 100 meters, are installed in the river, just in case if people need any support or safety. So such drones were also installed in the Kumbh festival. So additionally, we could also see multilingual chatbots were present in the official Kumbh Mela app, which would help pilgrims from across the globe who spoke multiple languages, who are from different geographies across the globe. They can get any kind of information they want through this app. So although I could see that there were a lot of areas of improvement in the entire festival regarding crowd management, regarding how the facilities were made available, regarding some areas which were not so clean, people management and so on. But still, I was impressed that the kind of magnanimity of the entire festival, and the government has tried its best in whatever it could. They have tried to make sure that the festival remains smooth, and security was also a major concern, because having such a massive religious gathering, it was important to make sure that we have a secure festival in terms of any outside interference. So that is, so far, has gone quite well. And one thing which is of particular interest is that this Kumbh Mela festival is integrating ancient history with modern technology. So Historica's vision also stands in the same line, which is to use modern tradition in understanding ancient history. And I think the 2025 Kumbh Mela festival has done an excellent job in connecting ancient history with modern technology. The story of our past helps us understand, make informed decisions about the present, and inspires a better future. And that's why in Historica, we stand with the motto of discover your past, shape your future. And sharing this information with you inspires us to move forward.